By far, the most common comment I get from Globers is that the sun can never go below eye level on a flat plane. Yep, I agree with that 100%. Of course, it would be geometrically impossible for this to happen. In the flat Earth model, it has been proposed that the sun is 30 miles across and 3,000 miles high. It seems every glober thinks that if the sun was touching the horizon, then it must be below eye level. This is not the case. Here we have a circle representing the sun with a radius of 15 miles. The circle sitting on the line is representing the sun touching the horizon during sunset. I say sunset, but I believe sunset is an illusion. The sun disappears into its vanishing point, as shown by Wide Awake's illusion of a sunset footage and my haunting sunset from Mount Dale footage. Both footages show the sun getting smaller and smaller until it disappears into its vanishing point, just as perspective predicts. On the subject of perspective, another comment is the sun does not visually get smaller as it rises or sets. It actually does technically change size, as shown by JT Nolan's footage. But let's say for now the sun, visually anyway, appears about the same size from sunrise to sunset. Well, the reason for this is from sunrise to midday to sunset, the sun is approximately 3,000 miles away. Think of yourself standing in the middle of a triangle. The sun's path from our point of view is roughly a triangle. I said roughly. So the distance from the sun to the observer is equal from sunrise to midday to sunset. Once the sun travels 3,000 miles away from us, it then appears to start to get smaller and smaller as it gets even further away. Globers think this is the sun disappearing behind the Earth. I think this is the sun getting smaller and smaller as it gets even further away. The semicircle we see at sunset is easily shown to be the sun reflecting off the water surface. At this point, the shape of the sun is not a semicircle. It's a smaller, distorted shaped sun that is entering its vanishing point. There is now multiple footage of this occurring. The observations we are making is guiding my thought process on this. It's not what I learned at school, and it's not what is written in the textbook. We must make our own observations and draw our own conclusions. Anyway, getting back to the circle. This diagram is done in GeoGebra and is 100% to scale. As we pan right, we are travelling the 3,000 miles back towards the observer. Remember, on a flat plane, the sun is not at the horizon. The sun is 3,000 miles minimum, and it's probably more away from us. The sun is not sitting on the horizon 49.7 miles away. I have the horizon set at approximately 50 miles, as the observer is up on Mount Dale at 500 meters elevation, observing the alleged sunset. As you can see, the angle from the horizontal up to the sun is only 0.3 degrees. From the observer on Mount Dale, they'll not know the difference. They'll think the sun is appearing at their eye level and not 45 degrees up into the sky. With the sun 3,000 miles away and with a radius of 15 miles, the sun appears very close to the horizon. It appears almost touching the horizon, but is in fact 3,000 miles high. So we come to the observer 3,000 miles away. The observer is approximately 500 meters in elevation, watching the sunset from Mount Dale. Now at the horizon 50 miles away, the line of sight to the sun will coincide with 1,126 meters above sea level, or 626 meters above the eye level of the observer on Mount Dale. Basically, at 50 miles distance, this will be negligible. The observer feels like they are looking out parallel to the ocean, observing the sunset. They don't feel like they're looking up at 45 degrees. Alright, now to address the angle to the sun and perspective. Every glober watching this right now is screaming at their monitor that perspective is magical fairy dust and doesn't really exist. I call these people perspective deniers, or you could call them science deniers. Since we observe perspective every day in the real world, I actually think we should start calling them science deniers. Okay, do we have any observational proof that the angle to an object actually physically changes due to perspective? Or is it magical fairy dust? Alright, let's look at this diagram then. This is two frames taken from a plane flyover. One has the plane directly overhead, and the other is a plane flying away from the observer. If we draw a line from the observer to the two planes, it's obvious to see that the angle between the ground and the line from the plane to the observer physically changes. When we see a plane fly away from us, the angle to that plane with the ground physically changes. The plane is at the same altitude, sure, but our visual angle to the plane gets less and less as it flies away. This is reality. It is not magical fairy dust. There is no difference with the sun. As the sun moves from midday to alleged sunset, it appears to get closer and closer to the horizon. The angle between the ground and the line from the observer to the sun gets less and less. The actual physical angle to the sun from our point of view gets less and less. Believe it or not, I have several globers trying to claim that I should be drawing a triangle 3,000 miles long, 3,000 miles high, so that the angle to the sun must be 45 degrees. Man, the only way you can come to this ridiculous conclusion is if you believe perspective does not exist. You know, maybe we should call this debate perspective versus gravity, because it always seems to come back to those old chestnuts. The next time you're watching a sunset, think back to this video and know that yes, the sun is actually 3,000 miles high, but due to perspective, it appears to be touching the horizon and is only a 0.3 degree angle above your eye level. When a glober tries to state that during alleged sunset the sun is below your eye level, you can refer them back to this video and politely inform them that they are not correct. On a flat plane, the sun disappearing from our view would exactly match what we see every day with our own eyes. Open your mind up to new possibilities and use your textbooks for kindling only. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to donate to the GoFundMe for the 30 by Zoom drone camera. Your donation will go a long way because once I'm finished with the camera, I'll be passing it on to another researcher. I've also been in contact with a fellow Perth flat earther who is a drone operator, which is great news as I won't be up for the drone costs, and he can assist with the observations to ensure their success. If you look down the list of donators, there are some big names in there that you can be next to, including Jaren from Jeranism, Bob from Globebusters, Chris from Red Pill Philosophy, and Nathan from Flat Earth Debate. Huge shout out to those guys, not just for their donation, but for their ongoing support over the last couple of years. The Flat Earth community is a pleasure and honour to be a part of. The humility and intelligence of the community is something to be proud of. All donations are welcome. If you can only afford $1, then that's awesome. It's not the amount, it's getting involved in a community project that you can feel a part of. Regardless of the tally, I'll top it up to ensure we reach the goal, so your donation will definitely result in awesome drone footage. The drone will be used to go up to 600 meters and observe where the horizon sits in relation to Rottnest Island. If we see ocean behind Rottnest Island, then it's game over for the globe, as according to the globe model, Rottnest Island should be sitting on the horizon with nothing visible behind it. Please subscribe, like, comment, and feel free to mirror any of my videos. And finally, if Mr. Beast or Logan Paul is watching this video, feel free to donate to the cause.